Good morning. Get my trusted headphones. Good morning, guys. How are you? So, today I'm going to talk about something that has been in my life all my life. As a little girl, growing up in Vermont, I grew up in a really big old farmhouse, and it was a really cool house. It was redone several times and had all different iterations of people living in it and different pieces built on. And in the 80s, my uncle, I remember, helped redo the ceilings in our living room. And when he did that, weird shit started happening, really weird stuff. So basically, there were some energies that were unlocked. So today, I want to talk about ghosts. Ghosts. And ghosts are something that I have seen and felt all my life. Now, I want to talk about this because I feel like everyone probably has this sense. And it's a very personal relationship with the energies, with the other side. I believe in reincarnation. I believe that there is a heaven that you can go to. I believe that there is a hell somewhere. And I believe in purgatory. And I also believe those pieces all help happen in places that look like this. I've had dreams about friends of mine that have passed away. One in particular, I grabbed her arm. We were in a subway station. I was like, "Hey, how are you? What's it like?" And she's like, "It's just the same here." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay, interesting." So is that made up in my mind? Maybe. I don't know. But we get to explore possibilities. What I do know is that I have seen things that um, sober, very sober. I've seen things that cannot just be explained away. And I have photo evidence that I'll show you guys in a little bit of a photo I took in 1999 of a ghost, and I'll tell about that in a second. But basically, there's energy in this planet. There's energy that flows around. There are billions of years of energy floating around this planet. So, of course, to me, it makes sense that there is stardust still kind of caught up in here, right? There's still this elasticy kind of energy that happens. And sometimes I think people time travel. Sounds really weird, right? But when we're meditating and journeying, there are possibilities of time travel. In that beautiful house in Vermont that I grew up in, I grew up in a bedroom that had a balcony, and there were windows on three sides of the room, and there was a door. And on one of the sides, the balcony had windows. And my entire childhood, I felt like I was being watched. And I would not for the life of me look out that window of the balcony. It scared me. I didn't have any curtains on my windows. We lived out in the middle of the country. And it was the feeling of a presence, right? Do you guys ever feel that? Like you're alone in a room or you're alone in a hallway and you feel something. The temperature changes, you get a chill. Something is there that happens just a little differently, right? So, I think a lot of times we brush it away, like that, whatever. But I'm going to tell you, I've photographed it. I've communicated with these spirits, entities, whatever you want to call them. Now, Hollywood has made it that every single spirit is out to get you and they're going to hurt you. And, there's a fear there, which is understandable. Um, and I think a lot of times when a spirit is making its presence to us, it's actually looking to you for some support, for help. Maybe you can support them, maybe you can't. There's a lot of clairvoyants out there who actually can hear and communicate on a really awesome level. But for the most part, I think a lot of times it's loved ones who are just stopping in to say hi. I mean, I dream about my mom a lot, and she's usually in excuse me, she's usually in Ireland with her partner, who wasn't even Ireland. I talked to him yesterday. He's been in Africa, but I feel like a piece of her is still in Ireland, living with him. A piece of their souls are together forever. So it's really heady stuff. It's really heartfelt, I feel like. And back to that window on my balcony, I was doing a meditation a couple years ago, and it was I went back to my past, and I went to go talk to my little self. And the realization that I had was that the person watching me in that window all my childhood was an iteration of me now. And furthermore, my imaginary friends were also iterations of me. So not only is there like spiritual plane activation that people who've passed away may show up in our lives, but I believe that in like a quantum field, we as living souls can actually time travel. And when I had this realization, I was like, damn, I was my own imaginary best friend. What? Like, okay, cool. And it just made me, it lit me up in a way that just created more possibilities. Okay, what else are we playing with here? And I was meditating yesterday. I can't believe I'm telling you guys all this, but I'm just gonna go for it because I think it's important. I was meditating on my bed yesterday, and I was feeling kind of feeling a little bit just not great. Like my throat's a little sore, and Wiley was all cuddly, so I just kind of closed my eyes. I was waiting for a girlfriend to call me, and as I closed my eyes, I was in that like that really beautiful space between sleep and awakeness. And I used to have kind of awake terrors during that, like paralyzed and I couldn't move. But this time it was really soft. It was really beautiful and settling. And my great grandfather, who I grew up with, he was 92 when he passed away. He was on the bed with me. He just like was sitting like on the side of the bed, like I would have sat next to him when I was a little girl, you know, and he's visited me before in my 20s. There was a psychic that was like, you know, sometimes you feel like there's a cat on your bed, like there's a warmth. And I was like, yeah, there, and I don't have a cat. And she's like, that's your great grandfather. And he visited me yesterday, you guys. Like, how cool is that? Just a really gentle, like, hey, I'm just here to check in with you. So, um, you know, if you do feel these things, I just encourage you to embrace it and to lean in and realize that it's happening for you. It's not happening to you. I know that kids see things a lot more, and then as we get older, the veil starts to happen, and oh, that doesn't, you know, that's not true. Like all the movies about kids, like Genius Babies is a great example. Like little kids remember and know stuff. It's like they remember things from the other plane, and then as we start growing older, we forget. We forget. So a lot of the work I like to do is going back to that childhood wonderment of remembering who you are, of what you are. So I told you guys I had physical proof of ghosts. I do. Good morning, Jody. Good morning, Arthur. So in 1999, I was 19. I call it the worst year of my life. I dropped out of college. I was pretty lost. I was drinking. I was eating a lot of mushrooms as well. Um, and I was living in an apartment in Vermont. It was a part of an old farmhouse that had been turned into several apartments, and there were a lot of us, and we were all smoking pot, and you know, just being kids, like being 19-year-olds, trying our best to be adults when you're 19. So if any of you had that experience, you know, it's like you're in a rush to grow up, but you're still a kid. So I lived in this apartment and weird stuff happened to it all the time. Like lights would go on and off, things would be moved around. I would think I saw like one of my roommates at the corner of my eye, which also happened to me in college. I guess it always happened to me. It's happened to me most of my life, actually. But it really became like super present there. I would hear things in the abandoned apartment next to my room, another balcony. So there were all these different things going on. It was a very, very, very old farmhouse. It was very, very, very haunted, no doubt about it. And I would sleep. I would actually drink so much that I would fall asleep. And there was many times in my life when I was drinking that I was actually self-medicating because I was scared. I was scared of these spirits. So there was one day that one of my roommates, a girlfriend of mine, and I had a Polaroid camera, and we're like, all right, let's take a picture of ourselves in the bathroom with the lights off. And I had no windows in this bathroom. And I don't know why we're doing that. We're just dicking around, right? And when the picture came out, there were two of us in the bathroom together. And in the picture, there's three faces. And there's a ghostly face in the middle. Now, I'm going to show it to you guys here. I'll take a picture and I'll put it in the comments as well. You know, this picture is 20, what year? So this picture is 20 years old. And in the picture, what's really weird about it is that my best friend who helped find the apartment, it looks like her in the picture. It looks like her. And it's not. It's another girlfriend of mine. So here's the picture. Let me see if I can do it. So where's the pen? So here is that's my friend. That's me. And then right here in the middle is our friend, the ghost. We have no idea who it is. We have our ideas. But that person was not with us that day in that bathroom. And I still get chills about it. I still get chills because it's photographic proof. So again, that's me on the side. You can barely see me right here, and then my friend, and then right in the middle, that ghostly face right in the middle. And I put a warning on here because I've shown this picture to people before and they freak out, and I don't blame them because it's like, damn, I can't explain that. The other piece is that I lived in Saratoga Springs for about 8 years, and I was laying in bed one night. It was about 2002, and I lived in the upstairs. My dad owned this house that I lived in, and in the upstairs there were 2 rooms, and it was a cool house. It was a lot of eaves. A lot of the houses I lived in had these eaves, and I was in bed reading a book, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, a man appeared in my room. He had like a toque on, like a knit cap, fully dressed, floating, and not like he wasn't like spatially correct in the room. It was like he was too small, and he just showed up, was there, flashed away, and I was like, holy shit, stone sober, alone in this house. I think I had cats at that. I don't think, actually, no, I don't think I even had cats yet. So there were no animals, right? Like a lot of times I could use the animals to kind of like blame things on. Not that. And I have a theory about who that was. Um, you know, and I'll tell that story another day. I don't think I'm ready to say what that was, but somebody in my life who came along later lost someone around that time, and I really think that person showed up at that time. So we can make up all kinds of stories, right, about this. But I would love if you guys are, relating to this, to hear about any stories that you have, because the more we talk about it, the more we can support each other in it and support these people. So I want to say one more thing before two more things before we wrap up today, is that I used to be on a belief that suicide was a human personal choice. I really believed that if you took your own life, then that's your choice. It's between you and God, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. And I'm bringing this up. I mean, suicide's always one of those things that really affects the living, right? The person that not only goes through with it, but actually has it happen. Um, I don't know what happens to them. I don't know what kind of price they pay. But I had this theory for a long time that, it's up to them. And I've dealt with people being lost to suicide, and actually one of the theories about this is a guy that my girlfriend and I worked with at a supermarket, and he killed himself when we were in high school, and it brought us to go together closer. So I had this theory for a very long time, and then I was in a club, and a girlfriend of mine in this club came up to me one day. We didn't know each other very well, but there was something about our connection that really stuck. And she said, Keelan, my friend's husband just committed suicide, and he's come to me, and he's talking to me all throughout the night, and he is so shameful that he did it, and he's so lost. Like, what do I do? And it was the first time in my life that someone had really come to me. And the first time in my life, maybe, that I actually acknowledged that they were coming to me for an answer as to what to do. And it was such a big moment because, first of all, it crushed all of my righteousness about suicide, right? Like, here was some evidence from someone that there is a huge price that people pay. And it was also evidence of her coming to me, not knowing me very well, never had spoke of anything mystical or spiritual on this level. And I had the answer for her. On top of all of it, like, holy shit, like, talk about trusting yourself. I had the answer for her. And here's the answer, and this is what an old boss and mentor of mine told me years ago. When I lived with her, her basement was haunted, and I lived in her guest room. And in the guest room were the stairs to the basement, and she had a ghost named Carl. I never saw him, but I frickin' felt him. And I would drink a little NyQuil every night before I went to bed when I lived there. I think I only lived there for like a month, but so this friend and mentor told me a long time ago, and it's so simple, you guys. She said, if there's a spirit, ask them to go towards the light. Very simply, just ask them to go towards the light. And that was my knee-jerk reaction to telling my friend about her friend's husband. And I said, on top of it, if he's communicating with you, invite him to listen to you, invite him to listen to you, and then offer him to go to light. She did it, and it was cleared. He had to say what he had to say, and then he had a path to go. So with that said, what a weird topic, right? But it's all around us all the time. And the last thing I want to say is that if you've lost someone recently, know that you can still communicate with them. When my mom passed away, I went to her condo and I didn't feel her. I didn't feel it. She passed away in the condo. I didn't feel her. I'm like, where is her energy? Like, it was not there. It was really weird. Like, the chair that she passed away in was there, but she wasn't there. And that was probably even harder. And there was a closet that she had built because she was renting out her condo. When I went into that closet, there she was. Like, I could feel her energy. I could feel it. And I believe that energy flows. Sometimes I could smell her. Her partner still says he can smell her perfume. And I don't think it's something to be scared of. I think it's actually a gift that we can connect with these other worlds in whatever way is needed. And it also means that you're actually invoking that person. So when someone passes over, unfortunately, it's that part of life, right? It's that part of life that, like, nobody gets out of here alive. And are we doing everything in our power while we're here to be living the life that our past ones helped create for us and stood for us? So do something extraordinary today, so that all those energies and all those people that have passed away can look down or look up or wherever the heck they are and just be able to give you some energy air hugs. Thank you for letting me share this very personal part of me. I love you guys. I will see you again tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. If you see any spirits today, also remind them that they have the choice to